The Reliance of the Traveler. This is a book that is hundreds of years old and in our generation was translated into English. It is an overview of Sharia law from the Shafi'i school. There are four main schools of Sharia law in Sunni Islam that 75% of what they agree or that they hold, they agree on. The major tenets of Sharia law, they are in complete agreement. 51% of Muslims in America who were polled said that they would prefer Sharia law over the U.S. Constitution. Almost 20% of those polled said that it would be ethical, that it would be appropriate to overthrow our government with the use of force and violence. These are Muslims in America. Now, the reason we're focusing on that is because there are people who think that if we'll just give them the vote, everything will be okay. It's not true. It wasn't okay in Egypt. It's not okay in the Palestinian territories. You've got an elected government there, friends, and they're launching rockets almost on a daily basis into Israel. Okay? Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Don't fall for the nonsense from Obama and his people. They don't understand the hundreds of years of culture and momentum and Sharia law that accompanies Islam. Now, if Syria was to have an election, here's what's going to happen. Number one, the Shiites, the Ba'athist party, but they're Shiites, they're going to be thrown out of power. Syria has about 70%, these are rough numbers, but they're pretty accurate, it's about 70% Sunni Muslims. Only maybe 12% Shiite Muslims, and up until this insanity, about 10% Christian. Okay? There was a significant minority. In Egypt, about 8% of the population are Christians. There was a higher percentage of Christians in Syria with less oppression and less killing of the Christians in Syria per capita than in Egypt. And oh, look, Syria didn't have free and open elections. Our Christian brothers and sisters in Egypt are being tormented and were being tormented by elected governments. Our Christian brothers and sisters in Pakistan, they have free elections there. Christians are being brutally oppressed in Pakistan regularly in a country with free and open elections. So having free and open elections does not mean that there's going to be justice. Once the Sunnis are in control of Syria, the Sunni narrative, the Sunni storyline that is being followed by ISIS, okay, Islamic State, is that there must be one caliph and that there must be one nation, one Islamic nation. Now, quick review. Do you know the difference? Do you remember the difference between a Shiite Muslim and a Sunni Muslim? A Shiite Muslim is somebody who believes that only a blood relative of Muhammad could be the successor. So the Shiites argue that the first three successors of Muhammad, Abu Bakr, Umar, and Uthman, the Shiites say they were not legitimate. They weren't blood relatives, but Ali, his cousin and his son-in-law through Fatima, Muhammad's daughter, that dynastic line, that dynasty is where the true leader of Islam should be. And the Shiites condemn the Sunnis as heretics because they had these first three. And the Sunnis condemn the Shiites as heretics because they reject these first three caliphs, Abu Bakr, Umar, and Uthman. Now remember, Khalifa is the Arabic word for successor. So the Sunni narrative wants to reestablish the Khalifa, the caliphate, the office of the one leader and one nation. The Ottoman Empire, when it was defeated at the end of World War I, was dismembered. That was the end of the one nation, and it was the end of the caliphate. The Sunni narrative wants to restore it. If the Sunnis take over Syria, they have an ideology, and they have a history, and they have a culture that is sympathetic to ISIS. Even though many of them don't want to brutalize their fellow Muslims, they do want a caliph, And they do want one nation because that's what Muhammad said it had to be.